Hey guys, Matthew here. So in my initial video on the 30 minutes of Blood Aqueducts running, I had a few people ask questions about, how to set up the character, like what to prioritize, or I had some people say to make a video on like buying different pieces of gear on like a fresh character and things like that. So I decided I'm gonna, actually do it, but not exactly 100%, but I'm gonna give you the tools to do it, and I'm gonna show you basically how I would do it. Uh, I'm not necessarily actually going to go out and buy everything, but and then run Blood Aqueducts for another 30 minutes. But definitely this is going to work, and it's going to be pretty cheap. So first off, I want to talk about a tool called the PoE Wiki. So Path of Exile Wiki, it's pathofexile.gamepedia.com / Path of Exiles Wiki. You just Google PoE Wiki, and this is going to be the page. So you have a search bar here. And when trying to build just about any character, the best way is probably to use this website. So for example, if we're trying to build an MF character, you're going to want to type in quantity here. And it's going to bring you to the page where there's quantity, rarity, and quantity. So we don't really care about rarity, so let's just go down to quantity. Quantity, there we go. So this is basically all the items in the game which give you quantity. This is the theoretical maximum increase quantity. Biscos has been basically, people did the math and it's apparently 22.5% quantity. I don't believe in Biscos though, I'm not a fan of it. I rather my 10% flat amulet, but if you want to go Biscos, it's another way to go. Divination Disciate, your Gold Worms, Grease Embrace. This doesn't exist anymore, at least in temporary leagues. It's only in standard. Gives you a shit ton of quantity though. Perendis, Simsidemas, Pariahs, Windrippers. Anyways, so basically it gives you the items that give you quantity. So you can actually pick and choose from these items and whatnot and see what you'd like and what you'd rather use and not use. So other than this tool, basically Path of Exile, poe.trade. It's a website, poe.trade. It's basically a trading website that uses an API that searches, because whenever you're in PoE and you take any tab, when they're what are they called? Premium tabs, you have the option to make them public, and any public tab actually goes into the search API. And what poe.trade does is it searches through all of these stash tabs of every single player, and basically it makes a marketplace out of it. PoE or Path of Exile does have its own trade market / trade. It does have its own trading website type of thing, but I personally think it's way more complicated, and I'm just way too used to my good old Path of Exile. PoE.trade, so I typically just use this, but you can go with the official route as well, it works fine. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and build right now a MF character, and we're going to see how much it's going to cost. So we're going to open up a calculator, and we're going to see the total cost of an MF character if I was to build one right now for every single gear slot in the thing except for quivers, because just any rare quiver will do, at least when it comes to low tier mapping or like Blood Aqueducts and things like that. So first things first, Sidemas. As you can see, 16% quantity is a perfect roll, and they're almost all corrupted, so it's about 4 chaos. That being said, if we just drop to 15% quantity, nobody wants those anymore, so 1 chaos, and you have some links, you have some white sockets, you have things to choose from. 1 chaos. Great, that's pretty cheap. That's our gloves. Boots, we're going to go with the gold worms, the good old gold worms. If you want a perfect pair, as you can see, it's pretty expensive. Like 2/3 of an exalt, 3/4 of an exalt actually. It's pretty expensive. But if we go down to 17, all of a sudden we can pick some up with some very, very good fire resistance for 4 chaos. This might be price fixed 16 minutes ago. We could go ahead and whisper the guy, but you might have to pay a little bit more. But I think gold worms are about 10 chaos. So let's not use this price. Let's just use this one. So plus 10. Alright, good. We got our boots. Talismans, as I was talking about in the video. If you want a 10% one, they're decently expensive, up to 40 chaos, or minimum 40 chaos, and then it goes up. Alright, so then if we go down to 9, 25 chaos, okay, it's a little bit better. If we go down to 8, oh, there we go, 2 chaos. How great, 2 chaos. What do you have on there? You have some intelligence, which is actually really nice, some lightning resistance, which is actually really nice. Physical attack damage leeches mana is actually pretty good. This is a very nice talisman. 2 chaos, done deal. I'll take that. You have some other ones if you rather some fire res instead. Some cold res, some physical, some crit chance. 10, 15. It goes up a little quickly, but you got one for 2 chaos. And what if we go down to 7, just in case it's a price fix? For 7%, you know, it's basically 1 chaos, 1 chaos, 2 chaos. Yeah, pretty damn cheap. So let's just use 2 chaos, whatever. Let's just use 2 chaos for that. Our rings. So if you want some 10% venters, which would be perfect, they're pretty cheap, but they're, you know, decently expensive for somebody with like no capital to start with. So 30 chaos might look like a lot. So if we go into 9%, you know, we're already cutting that price by half, down to 15. 15 chaos for 9% quantity. That's actually pretty good. Up to 20, not bad. Let's see if we can get lower than that though. 15 again for 8%. Right. Okay, what about 7? Alright, we're down to 12 chaos per, so this is starting to be quite cheap. So let's just say our venters are going to be 15 chaos each. If you want some like 7 or 8% quantity ones, which is actually pretty good. You even have some little bit of resistances on there, which is nice. Always a little bit of an add-on, maybe some life. Try to get the least possible reduced rarity, but you know, do with what you can, and it's no big deal. So we're up to 28 chaos. We're almost done here. Our belt, sorry, it's going to be Viscose Leech. Definitely the best belt you can go with. Cold resistance is nice, but who cares? We're just going for the cheapest 8 chaos. There. Right. Helmets, definitely 100% going to be a Devoto's. You know, you cannot miss out on that movement speed and that attack speed and that chaos resistance. Is actually really good for the current incursions. So 2 chaos for that. Nice. 2 chaos there. That's great. Tabula, you get a corrupted one, 15 chaos, no big deal. Obviously, you can run a 5 link if you don't have a tabula, if you don't have 15 chaos to spend on a tabula. It's not that big of a deal. You can clear Blood Aqueducts on a 5 link very easily. Actually, I was clearing my burial chambers on a 5 link for a long time because I'd rather use Queen of the Forest than to use a tabula. So in reality, what you could do instead of using a tabula, you could use a Queen of the Forest, and just let's see how much it is for a 5 link one. Seems to be about 40 chaos. Let me show you guys a little bit of a trick though. What if we were to not put in any links? Queen of the Forest. You know, you have some for 4 chaos, right? And then what if we look at the price of a Jeweler's Touch? 25 chaos, right? So this will create a fully 5 link socket with a single Jeweler's Orb. It's going to put 5 sockets and 5 links to your item in one single Jeweler's Orb, which is pretty good. It's 25 chaos, and then a base is 4 chaos for a total of about 30, versus paying, you know, 40. So you're actually saving 10 chaos by basically making it 5 link yourself, and you have a lot more choices in terms of resistances. So definitely, let's just use the 30 chaos example. I think 30 chaos is not a whole lot of currency, as I proved in my video. You can make that in half an hour very easily. So a 5 link Queen of the Forest is gonna like buff up your movement speed by a ton. So let's just use 30 chaos for a 5 link Queen of the Forest that we will do ourselves. By the way, poe.trade. The Jeweler's Touch is the name of the thing. It is a prophecy. You proc it. It goes under your prophecies over here. And then you're going to have it in one of the bubbles whenever you right click it. For example, if I was to use this one, it goes there. Then, you know, Navali just starts rambling crap. And whenever you use a single Jeweler's Orb on any item that can have up to 5 sockets and 5 links, it's going to 5 link and 5 socket it. So be careful not to use your Jewelers on any random item while you have this, because you just waste it. And then the final piece of gear will be a Chainsaw. So we're going to have a 5 link on our Queen of the Forest or a Tabula. Tabula, for example, if we go to the Tabula version, 68 minus is basically 30, and then it's basically 18 more chaos. Let's just say 15. So if you go to Tabula route, you're only up to 53 chaos with a Tabula, and that is a 6 link. If you go to 5 link Queen of the Forest route, you're at 68 chaos. And then to add on to that, we have a Chin Salt, 4 chaos. Great, 4 chaos. Great. So, as you can see, building an entire MF character, every single slot in the build, 2 rings, Sedemas, Goldworms, a bow, a 6-linked or a 5-linked Queen of the Forest, Devotos, a Talisman, and any quiver, any rare quiver. Like that's why I didn't look any up, because any rare quiver is going to be fine. Blood Aqueducts is a very low level spot, so you don't really need a whole lot of damage. So any quiver is going to be just fine. And even in like tier 3 maps, any quiver is pretty much fine. So the complete cost of building your fully MF character that can run burial chambers, and I swear to God, you can run burial chambers on this kind of setup. Obviously, the boss might take a little while without a 6-link and without some good abyss jewels and all that. But just skip it. If anything, if the boss is taking you over 4 seconds to kill, just skip the boss. Don't kill the boss. It doesn't matter. It rarely ever drops anything. I would still say go to the boss room, because there is almost every single time, I believe, or maybe even every single time, there is a magic pack in the boss room. So go to the boss room, kill the magic pack, and pour it out. And that'll be just fine. No problem without killing the boss. So as you see, it's a very small initial investment. As I basically shown in my Blood Aqueducts farming video, you can make this amount of currency even without all these items, because basically now you're trying to build this character, so maybe you don't have the currency to buy these items. Even on just any regular old, like a bunch of rares and crap, you know, farming Blood Aqueducts, so long as you're going pretty quick, in an hour, I'm pretty sure any build can farm like 57 chaos worth of currency in 1 hour. So, and then you're fully set up to go all the way up to, I don't know what you could push with this kind of gear. Probably not crazy high, but I think T3 burials would be absolutely no issues. So next thing in order of importance are going to be flasks. I see a lot of people asking me questions about flasks, and a lot of people messing up flasks. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys basically the 2 most important flasks when it comes to speed in Path of Exile as a MF character with Queen of the Forest. If you don't have Queen of the Forest, the Jade Flask isn't going to be all important. But I'll show you guys how to roll Flask, Quicksilver, and the Jade. So a Quicksilver Flask gives you 40% movement speed whenever you use it. Lasts for 4 seconds. You can use some glass blowers, baubles. Those things are extremely cheap and they drop often, so you can always pick them up if you have them in your loot filter. So we're going to put 20 quality on there because it gives us 0.8 seconds of duration, which is actually pretty big. Then we're going to turn this into a magic flask with the help of a transmutation. And then what we're going to want to do is use alterations on it until we hit Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline. It does not have to be Alchemist, but it does have to be of Adrenaline. Alchemist is a little bit better than any other prefix, but so long as it's Adrenaline, it's going to be fine. So this is Resistances, Steadiness. This one has none. As you see, this is a perpetual Quicksilver Flask with nothing, of nothing. That means there's no suffix on there. So we can actually add a suffix by using an augmentation on it. Resistance, we don't want that. Ample, that could be good, so long as we hit something good. Steadiness, no. Resistance, no. Steadiness, wow. That's crazy. Oh, this is eye level 3. Resistance. Resistance. There we go. Nope, that's resistance. I don't know why I said there we go. Resistance. Ample. That's not what we want. Steadiness. Steadiness. Resistance. Steadiness. Can this even roll adrenaline? I'm starting to wonder. Whoa! Something's going wrong. Wait, this is item level 3. I think that's not high enough. I think that's not high enough. Alright, so this is another tool you can use, poe.affix.net. It's basically a website with all the affixes possible on every single piece of gear, divided by prefixes and suffixes. So for example, for a flask, if we go into their flask variant, we're going to look for movement speed, which is this. So as you see, that's really funny. He gave me an eye level 3 flask. This can't roll adrenaline. Sorry, Flask. That's really funny though. Oh man, that's funny. Alright. Well, that's a that's troll. We just wasted a few alterations on that. No big deal though. I had another guy, another buddy of mine who wanted to give me one. I'll take one of those Quicksilvers. Other dude gave me an eye level 3. That's really funny. I posted in my I don't know what these are called, my social thing anyways. I sent a message to my friends like, anybody got a Quicksilver and a Jade Flask I can have? And he gave me an eye level 3. Ah, that cracks me up. Alright, so don't make that mistake. Be sure to check the eye level of your flask before you start crafting. Because you can end up like wasting a ton of alterations and never hit it because it can't do it. So as you see, for increased movement speed, which is of adrenaline, it's item level 5. How you see that is by holding Alt. Whenever you hold Alt and mouse over an item, you're going to see its item level. Quicksilver. Any. Doesn't matter. Any is going to be fine. So long as it's over eye level 5, so 42. This is great. Thanks, man. Credits to Guino's Rageblade. This guy's a, probably a League of Legends player. I'm guessing. Am I right? Alright. So, we're going to start again. Gonna class bubble this up. And we're going to try again. Ah, there we go. That wasn't all that hard, was it? Avengers, Quicksilver, Flask of Adrenaline. So as you can see now, not only do I get 40% increased move speed whenever I hit the flask, I also get an extra 24% move speed during the flask effect. This roll goes up to 30%, as you can see mine is 30%. And then the best prefix would be Alchemist because it gives you increased effect but reduced duration. So the flask lasts for less time, but the 40% actually becomes 50% because there's a 25% increase to the movement speed during the flask effect. So it's pretty big, but it's pretty hard to roll these kind of flasks. It can take a lot of alterations. So just settle for a Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline, and that's going to make your clear speed way faster. As for your Jade Flask, you're going to want to do the same thing with this, and you're going to want your Jade Flask to be of reflexes. The reason you're going of reflexes is because it gives you increased evasion during flask effect, and that evasion percentage is actually global, which is going to help you reach the 45,000 evasion rating needed to cap out on Queen of the Forest, which gives 100% movement speed, and then reduced 25%, so up to 75% movement speed from this armor alone, which is why I would prioritize getting a 5-linked Queen of the Forest over getting a Tabula, if you have, that little bit more currency. So we're gonna go ahead. This flask has no suffixes, so we can use one. Oh wait, it had a suffixes. I'm an idiot. It had gluttony. Experiment is grounding. There we go. All right. It's pretty much the flask we would use. It has reflexes. Alchemist actually is pretty bad for this one, kind of, because you don't want the duration to be reduced for sure. But it's not like that big of a deal to the point where it's game breaking. Actually, it might even help you if you have a little bit lack of evasion. Maybe you have a bad roll on your Devotos. Maybe a bad roll on Queen of the Forest. Maybe you're just not high level enough to get all the evasion nodes on the tree. So you're struggling to get enough evasion. If that's the case, then this kind of flask would actually help you, because 25% increased effect would give you, let's see, like 800 evasion or something. So that would be pretty big, or 750 actually. Yeah, 750, which would be pretty big because then it almost gets doubled by the actual reflex suffix. So that's going to be pretty much it on how to start your MF character on the cheap. Like I said, this is going to be able to reach the numbers I was hitting when farming my my Blood Aqueducts, or even can clear T3 Bureau Chambers, I am pretty sure, extremely easily, except maybe the boss might be a little bit of a, an issue, but just skip it. As I said, do the blue pack and skip the boss. As for the tree, you can always check that in my build video. I have an hour-long video where I go over the entire build when it comes to MF and stuff. This I just wanted to make on like how to get started in terms of what to buy, and how to roll your Flask, because Flask is actually a really big deal when it comes to movement speed. So that's going to be pretty much it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you found this informative. And you know, if you have any friends that are like maybe newer players and they're wondering how to start off an MF character, just link them to this, and I'm sure they can get a whole lot of value out of it. So thanks for watching. We've been going on for quite some time now, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.